put a tiny pea on the princess's bed, and on top of the pea, she put 20 mattresses, and on top of the mattresses, she put 20 duvets. And the princess had to go to bed on top of all that. The next day, the queen asked her how she'd slept, and the princess said, "Oh, very badly. There was a big lump in my bed. I haven't slept a wink." When she heard this, the queen knew that only a princess could have skin soft enough to feel a tiny pea through all those mattresses. And so the prince and princess were married and lived happily ever after. Well, almost, because sleeping on all those mattresses and duvets was giving the princess a few problems. First, it was taking her ages to climb into bed each night. Second, she kept bumping her head on the ceiling. And third, if she rolled over and fell out of bed, she had a long, long way to fall. But the princess had to sleep on all those mattresses and duvets, because otherwise she could feel every tiny lump in the bed. Then I had a brilliant idea. I took her a special bed called a hammock, a big comfy net. Now the princess didn't need to worry about any lumps and bumps. She loved her new bed, and she slept like a dream. Little Cook Small to the rescue once again!
That was a great adventure. Oh, well done, Small. The hammock was a great idea.
Woo! Thanks, Ben. But now we need another great idea. We need to cook a meal fit for a princess.
Oh, yes, there's a princess in our cafe. Ah! We could...
I know! Big Cook's Big Cookery Book!
Of course, the Big Cookery Book. There's recipes for everything in there.
And where do we look for things to cook?
In the book, in Big Cook's book. Oh, Small, look at this.
Princess pie! Woohoo! Well, would you believe it?
We need a
Ben?
story to help us cook.
Let's take a look in Little Cook's book. Little Cook's Adventures in the Big World. Let me see. Far away lived a beautiful princess, Snow White, and her wicked stepmother. One day, the wicked stepmother looked into her magic mirror and said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror replied, "Snow White." The wicked stepmother was so cross that she ordered her servant to take Snow White into the wood and leave her there. Snow White was a little frightened. Luckily, she saw a tiny house in the distance. When Snow White finally reached the house, she was very tired and went straight to sleep. To her surprise, when she woke up, she was surrounded by 7 dwarves. They felt sorry for Snow White and asked her to stay. Meanwhile, their wicked stepmother looked into her mirror. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" Again, the mirror replied, "Snow White." The wicked stepmother was very angry. She disguised herself as an old lady, and when she found Snow White, she gave her a poisoned apple. Poor Snow White was now under a spell and would sleep for 100 years. When the dwarves came back, they were very upset. Luckily for them, I had an idea. I dashed off to find the handsomest prince in the land and brought him back as quickly as I could. When the prince saw Snow White, he kissed her. The kiss broke the spell, Snow White awoke, she married the prince, and they lived happily ever after. Little Cook to the rescue once again! That was a great adventure.
We need a story to help us cook.
Let's take a look in Little Cook's book. Little Cook's Adventures in the Big World. Let me see. This is a story about Mary, who more than anything in the world loved her flower garden. Lots of people came to Mary's stall to buy her beautiful flowers. Sometimes a bunch of tulips, or daffodils, or sometimes just one rose. It was lucky Mary Mary had a big garden, just the place to grow lots and lots of different flowers. But to grow flowers, you need seeds. Today she was going to plant some more. She went to her shed and picked up a seed packet. She planted the seeds in little rows all over the garden and watered them with her watering can. Then there was nothing to do but wait for the seeds to grow. So she waited and waited and waited until one morning she came out, and as far as the eye could see, there were hundreds and hundreds of big green leafy things and not a single flower in sight. Mary Mary was so disappointed, she just sat down and cried. I knew I had to help. Poor thing, she thought she was a really bad gardener. But Little Cook Small knew better. I could tell straight away what the problem was. I started to pull up the leafy things, and underneath the earth, I found carrots. Mary Mary realised she must have planted the wrong seeds. They weren't flower seeds, they were carrot seeds. And very good carrots they were too. We poured them up together until we had stacks and stacks of juicy orange carrots. Then we planted the flower seeds in the empty garden. Mary Mary was going to have to wait until the flowers grew, but in the meantime she put a big display of lovely orange carrots on her stall. Then she made carrot soup, carrot cake and carrot juice for all her customers. Little Cook to the rescue once again!
That was a great adventure.
Ready? Come on, Tim. 1, 2, 3. Way! There we go. You too, Topsy. Lovely. 1, 2, 3.